tawati mukorofi bonde onyo motote waningwa chatanande tawati kenda rengera tie esimaeli yo motonigo yare yekede nadetia watekende ya bisete naki omanchani bori wakare ngaibo se wadenda omanchani bori wakare wasirete niboyo Tawateri bolyo, togo kobolya, yechibu na yowate, yeri bolyo. Ekura tebe na numache kamone na yotaro chotara mocho yomoroche. Eboli na inewaira neye. Tawateri bolyo, togo kobolya. Yechibu na yowate, yeri bolyo. Ekura tebe na numache kamone na yotaro chotara mocho yomoroche. Eboli na inewaira neye. Wanchani bori wakare, wanchani bori wakare, wanchani twaringe gusabane geseri, itwa seintue, mekere masomberera, nende goteba mekere mainatera, wanchani tware gusabane no nyanu morera, gusabane no nyedeke miriti, bareke kwage chobombo barugamo baragiramo,
abaga kabaya batoncho gete basanga no noro kole bosibanyega chenke, baya boncho gete basanga ndagera ase chikanisa, chikambi
twaragiramo,
totali komanya ndagera
ne yango.
Itwenda wachwata yoka,
Nago twanga yoka,
ubwale
nago chwata yoka,
neba twaliga miri
nago twanga yoka. Twamanye tabato bonse nabamona bamote yondete yora kobekere subu. Omanchani bori wakare, wasirire pe, tiboyo.
Amande tuate bana bakristo tori
Tomanchete Yesu,
sabato na jumapili tobogole bukuno wetera
tomotogya umolene,
totolegete kabisa togo kwana ngora no witongo
tomotogya umolene. Omolena basaseni, wanasifi watora bororoki, chipurite na chobo kumya, tose kamo abanigo twanga inepi.
omubusiya gatebo kwanchimba maiso
Nibyoye kama nyaini,
nanda kamenta kwanchimba mweli
musunte babora.
endamwa muno
Borogi baichoide, komutakwole kano nyambo saigo.
okoligere liwoka
Tumba yoma,
engombeya sije
nagana mabere.
ikeke kiabeire
Loki minto,
elinde toba
chingete choro sana.
tobe na maendo kwanchani boli bwakale
Wasirire pe, tiboyo. Tawateri bolyo, togo kobolya, yechibu na yowate, yeri bolyo. Ekura tebe na numache komone na yotaro chotara mocho yomoroche. Eboli na inewaira neye. Tawateri bolyo, togo kobolya, yechibu na yowate, yeri bolyo. Ekura tebe na numache komone na yotaro chotara mocho yomoroche. Eboli na inewaira neye. Tawateri bolyo, togo kobolya, yechibu na yowate, yeri bolyo. Ekura tebe na numache komone na yotaro chotara mocho yomoroche. Eboli na inewaira neye.
Today, in this afternoon, we are going to look into our health and lifestyle. And this afternoon, your presenter will be Dr. Manera, standing in for it. And today, we'd like to learn on prostate cancer. And before we go straight to our lesson today, I would like to shed some light why we chose this song that the song we will sing, as talking about the love that we should be having as a community. As we go to study this prostate cancer, we know that as it progresses, really love is needed at home, because it is a tasking disease, and it's also something that needs, the patient needs a lot of love, a lot of patience from the people who are going to nurse him, so that they can recover. And if they are not going to recover, we can have palliative care as they go into their last days in this world. And before we start, I would like to have a short prayer so that we can start for this next 30 minutes, so that we can learn something about the prostate cancer. We pray. We thank you, Father. We glorify your name. You are holy. We adore you. We worship you this afternoon. We thank you for the life that you have given unto us. And also thank you for the good health that you have given unto us. For this day's lesson, we humbly ask you that you go with us, that you may show us the way, and also that you may give us strength, so that we can work, so that our health may improve, so that it may shortly in Jesus' name. Amen. Today, as I had earlier said, we are going to look into prostate cancer. That is a cancer that is only found in men, because only men have prostates. And maybe I want to have a short introduction about this prostate cancer. Prostate cancer represents approximately 20% of the cancers in the male population. The risk of this cancer is very low. It's not that high, but it's also a disease. Even if it's low, still it is a killer disease. Especially if we want it in time. If we want to see it in time, then it's very rare for us to see it, just like any other cancer that takes a lot of time and so many resources, so that we can come to a conclusion that we are dealing with cancer. For this reason, it is important to know that both the risk factors and the early tests that can radically and positively change the course of this disease. Now, as we go into this study, we want to know, what is the prostate? What is the prostate? The prostate is a gland of a male genital apparatus. It is a small gland that is situated just below the bladder. It is located below the bladder and surrounds a part of the urethra, the duct that transports urine from the bladder to the outside body. It is small, but it's important gland that measures between 3 to 4 centimeters in diameter, and it weighs approximately 20 grams. This is a small gland, but it's very important to men. You realize that as young boys, one doctor used to tell us that if you want to know that now you are aging, you look at the young boys at home. When they urinate, even if they want to urinate up to the ceiling, they can do it with the force that they are having. But men, they don't urinate easily. They don't have that pressure so that they can urinate far. Most of the men that who are aging above 45, as they go down there, you get their urine. Sometimes their urine just oozes, and you'll get even most of the men sometimes when they walk maybe in the streets, and they would like to have, when they are pressed so that they can go to urinate. When they come back, if they've got a newspaper, you will get most of these men they put the newspapers in front of them, just because when they were urinating, you get at the end of it, you get the urine comes down, and sometimes it soils their trousers, and that's why the men are very, very particular sometimes when they go to have short calls. Now, that was not the topic. The topic is that the prostate, as I earlier said, it's just a small gland that weighs at approximately 20 grams. Its function is that it produces prostatic liquid, which is a good portion of the semen or liquid. You get that, men, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes little boys may be listening to me, but the men, as I talk to you, you know what I mean by the semen. This is the gland that is responsible to get out this semen, or to produce this semen. It gives a diminishing and a viscosity that is spent up to the mortality of the spermatozoa. This is the fluid that carries the spermatozoa as they go, as they travel. The prostatic liquid, it provides an entire electrolyte, or something that is called it's just like a security to the spermatozoa that diminishes the acidity that is found in the vaginal secretions that are acidic. So it protects them as they go into wherever they are supposed to go. This prostatic liquid acts like a defense on the bilateral infections that may be found along the way. So you can see now, this prostate is a very important organ, a very important gland that is in men. But it's approximately 20 grams. That is a very small thing, just 3 to 4 centimeters. It's not that big, and it's situated just below the bladder, the renal bladder. Now, when you talk about the prostate cancer, this cancer, it's amalgamation, or it's the enlargement of this prostate gland. When it's enlarged, it causes so many things that can cause this cancer. That in fact, we know that a cancer is an enlargement of some cells in an organ. So when this prostate enlarges, it poses a dangerous zone that cancer can manifest in. Now, the types of prostate cancers that we have one that is called adenocarcinoma. This one is an enlargement cancer that causes the glandular component, that gland, to enlarge. Others are less frequent. This is the most common one. But others are less frequent, that they are called, most of them, they are just mild and they don't do so much in this cancer. I can give you around 3. That's sarcoma, that originates from the nearby support structures that connects to the gland. Another one is a transitional cell that is called carcinoma. Another one is a small cell that is called carcinoma 2. Now, during when the gland is enlarging, there are some things that start manifesting. Like there's something that we call the benign prostatic hyperplasia, that is called BPH. The BPH is the most commonly pathology among men starting at the age of 50. It is not cancer, and it does not increase the risk of prostate cancer, although both diseases can exist at the same time in a patient. Consists of non-malignant growth and in prostate, and the malignant of the prostate does not enlarge. The size does not become big as such. Now, this as we study this prostate cancer, we will see that there are some things that they point out that you should be aware when you see them, so that you can see on how to go and see and check if this cancer has infested in you. Number one, there are some symptoms that are they are mild. They are not that tough, or they are not that painful, but they have some mild pains that is the beginning of whatever cases that are going to invest in you, and so that as time goes by, they deteriorate your health. It becomes worse, and over time, it even becomes harder to do some things. Men, you realize that there are sometimes as women grow above 45 years, as they grow, you will get it. Sometimes it's very hard for men to hold on to urine. Maybe they are supposed to be moving for a long distance, but you get them not holding. Maybe the urine will come out, or they will have to stop for some time so that they can urinate, so that to ease the pressure that is there in their bladder, and also the pressure that is pressing the prostate gland. The change in the caliber of the urinating system reduces the force immediately to release the urine. Now, as this gland enlarges, you see, when it is small, the pressure builds up very fast. But when it enlarges, now the pressure in the gland reduces, and even it makes it even harder for one to urinate. Sometimes when the gland enlarges, because it's just near the urethra, it enlarges, and then it partially it blocks the urethra, making it difficult for urine to come out. And this one will bring so many things that can harm the health of a man. And this they cause, after enlarging, and then the the urethra is partially blocked, urine doesn't come out the whole of it. That's why you will get men having urinary tract infections. That when they want to urinate, you get that they feel some mild pain along the urethra. They feel the pain is unbearable along the urethra, because when the prostate enlarges, and it's the one that holds the urine from the bladder, because it's just below the bladder, then urine passes there as it goes to the urethra. So because it has enlarged, it makes something like a pothole, and then the urine, when it comes there, because it has closed partially the urethra above, so urine cannot climb from down there coming up to the urethra. And this, consequently, because the urine that comes down there that is not released, it stays there, and it is toxic. So it brings out, when it comes out, it brings out urethral infections that can make men to have pain even when they are urinating. And this one is not good, because men need to give out, they need to excrete whatever that is harmful, that is toxic, that's in them. There is another one that is called the diverticular in the bladder. It makes the bladder to be painful. And also, if there are kidney stones, the BPH hinders or impedes it avoiding. My listener, I would like you to know that during this process, when the urine comes into the gland, when it doesn't come out the whole of it, because urine comes out with some other minerals, they might even clot there and even make the infections that will be there, they'll be very hard. Even when maybe the kidney has got stones, and they are released into the bladder, and then maybe they come down to the prostate. it becomes even more harder and even becomes more painful when you are excreting these stones from the body. And that's why then we are required to do some things so that we can avoid this prostate, so that it cannot be a killer disease. As I started, I said that it is not something that people see that it's dangerous. No, they don't see it dangerous, but it is a dangerous thing that can make you suffer for a very long time. The symptoms. In the initial phases, the symptoms of prostate cancer can coincide with those one of BPH that I've described above. Then, despite being distinct disease, for this reason, these are the symptoms to which we must pay attention. The symptoms of prostate cancer are different from each person. Sometimes, this cancer does not even manifest in any of the specific symptoms. So it is hard. We have to be very careful. Just like the women are supposed to be very, very careful in their breast cancer and the cervical cancer, we're also supposed to be very, very careful when we are dealing with this prostate cancer. Let's go to the causes and the risk factors that are there in this prostate cancer. There is another aspect that we have to pay attention to in order to obtain an early diagnosis of prostate cancer. The risk category to which the person belongs. Now, age is a factor. If an age of 40, the risk is very low. At 50, the symptoms of BPH begin to appear, whereas as from the age of 65 to 70, there is an increase of the probability of cancer in regard to the average. At the age of 80, there is a 70% higher increased risk in developing cancer. So as men age, the gland tends to enlarge more as people age. And this one makes the risk of age to be very high. So as from 40, the gland may have started to enlarge. As you go to 50, it continues enlarging, and as you continue living, the prostate also continue to enlarge, and this poses danger to have this cancer. Clinical and genetic history, the presence of recurring and chronic infections seem to facilitate an onset of prostate cancer. You might be having some diseases that they are recurring in your life. They might be STDs, they might be just urethral infections that we get. These infections that we get in our reproduction organs make us to be vulnerable to this prostate cancer, because these infections are the ones that can irritate, or they can trigger this disease, so that it can be a main challenge in our lives. Likewise, alterations from clinical conditions and determination that determine an increase in level of the testosterone and the growth of factor of insulin type 1 also promote the prevalence and the prostatic cells, and according to an increase in the probability of cancerous proliferation. Now, these are some causes and factors that can lead into having prostate cancer. Now, after the age and clinical genetic history, we have another one that is called a lifestyle. Our lifestyle, the way we live, the way we eat, the way we carry out our bodies, may also lead us to have prostate cancer. Our lifestyle is like when you have excess fats that coalesce around your pubic area. And also when we indulge into excess fats and animal proteins that we indulge into, you'll get so many men also, they like nyama choma, they like kuku choma, they like things that are the proteins that come from animals and those fats that come from animals. These ones also can also trigger us to have this prostate cancer. Obesity is another one, and lack of physical exercises. Men, as they grow, sometimes they become lazy. Starting even from me, sometimes we become lazy. When you come back from your work in the evening, you become lazy. You don't even exercise even a bit. We eat. After eating, after watching news, we start sleeping on our couches, and then eventually you go to a shower and you go sleep. We don't even exercise. It is very healthy for us to exercise so that we cannot have this prostate cancer and any other cancer that can come, or even obesity. Some men have decided to be obese. You see, you have to check your body mass so that we cannot have this disease infecting us and also making us have a problem in our lives. Also, it can be from your genetics, from your family. It can be hereditary, so that the risk becomes even twice much when one of your kin has been having this prostate cancer. Now, in a very quick joint, I want us to see on how to do diagnosis on this prostate cancer, so that we can live there. Then next time we are going to see on how we can prevent and even have this disease being treated, so that we can be free of this cancer. How to diagnose this disease? There is a test that is called PSA blood test. If there are symptoms in the risk of age group, the first test that must be done is a prostate specific antigen that is called PSA. The result in itself does not have a high diagnostic value, because an alteration in this concentration is not necessarily linked to the cancer, but it ought to be taken into account for using other diagnostic tools. This is one of the tools that can be used so that we can diagnose if we have really this prostate cancer. Because I told you, this prostate cancer, it does not pose so much danger that people even assume sometimes that there is something that is wrong with them. It can be you can have some mild pain or some inflammation when you are urinating. We assume that I did not take water during the day. That's why I'm having this. Maybe the urine is also has changed color. Then during the urinate you can say, because I did not take water, that is why my urine is like that. And in Swahili they say, ndio sababu imenichoma. But you should not take this lying low. You should not take this just casually, but we should test and see maybe there's something that has started. There is something else that we call a rectal examination carried out by a urologist. This one can be done in hospital alongside with the PSA that I've already said, and will allow the specialist to recommend the diagnostic and the therapeutical step to follow, so that we can realize or we can see whether we've got this disease in our bodies. Another one that is very common, that is commonly done, is that having an ultrasound exam. An ultrasound that is done in the hospital. An ultrasound is done, and directly the visibly detected pathological alteration from the gland and the urinary system. The results obtained from the PSA and to visit the urologist, and the ultrasound led to the diagnosis. Another one is a uroflowmetry. This indicates the quality of urinary flow and the strength of the urinary and abdominal muscles to force the emptying of the gland. This is what I was saying when I was starting, that young boys, boys that are 6 years to 7 to 9 years, when they are playing, you can even see from when they are playing, maybe when they are urinating, their urine can even hit the ceiling. But men cannot do that. So this is another test that you can even do it at home, that when you are going to urinate, at what pressure does your urine go? How far, how many meters does your urine go? Sometimes this is an indicator that there is something wrong with your gland. So let us do this simple test that we can do them at home. Leave alone these ones that we are supposed to go to the hospital, because going to the hospital sometimes it needs some money. But these simple ones that can be done at home, we can do them at home so that we can reduce this risk, so that we can see if there is a problem, we go for checkup so that we can prevent this disease early, so that it cannot be a killer disease to us. Remember, I said that at first, I said that this disease is not that dangerous. It's not that dangerous that can kill you instantly, but slowly it can kill you slowly. You see, people are going even up to 80 years. These people have got a higher risk of 70% of getting prostate. Though that means that still we can do something about it now, so that it cannot affect us in the future, so that we can have a better ending unto our lives. So this urinary flow from our bodies is very important, so that when you are going to urinate, see how much pressure, or from which pressure the urine is coming out. Also, our abdominal muscles, they are very important. The muscles are supposed to be good, so that when they are supposed to contract and have the urine come out, they should be in good condition, so that they are not in the other language they are not batendechere, and they are not they are not supposed to be very weak, but they are supposed to be tight wherever we are going to empty our bladders, so that it can allow the urine to come out. And it is compromising it's so compromising if the bladder is not completely emptied when you are supposed to empty it. Now, the urine exam also allows to rule out the inflammatory and infections of pathologies that are in the gland or in our blood. So sometimes we can have a urinalysis from the doctors, so that they can give us an exam on what our urine consists of, so that we can know if we are in danger of having this prostate cancer. Another one is that we can have a biopsy. This is where a doctor comes and gets some tissues from the gland, so that they can go and check if it is cancerous. And also the extension of the study, by depending on the lesson of the scope on the study, and completed the computerized axial ophthalmographic, that is a magnetic resonance of imaging, or a scanning, MRI that is done, so that to establish if the patient has the prostate cancer. This is something that is doable. We can do it from our homes, so that we can check ourselves as much as possible, as frequent as possible, so that we cannot be caught by surprise when we are told that you can be having cancer. As I wind up, I would like to tell you people that wherever you are watching from us, or wherever you are listening to us, know that if by bad luck you have prostate cancer, you've been diagnosed to have prostate cancer, your immediate family is very important. They will play a very vital role so that you can either go to recovery or you palliate yourself as you go into your final days in this world. Why am I saying this? That's why we started by talking about love. You see, these people, because they've been very much pain, and also they might be spending a lot of money, they will need a family kin or family members who love them, who will show love, who will show that these people really need care. This love is very important, and that is why these people are supposed to be guarded and even given proper care so that they can continue in this life as they await for the second coming of our Jesus Christ. And that's why I would like to refer you, those people who are taking care, who are nursing people who have got prostate cancer and any other cancer. I would like to encourage you from the book of the 1 Corinthians 13:13 that says that there remains 3 things that we are supposed to be doing. The first one is to have faith. The second one is to have hope. And the third one is to manifest love in these your loved ones who are maybe in these cancerous diseases or who have already lost hope that nothing is going to happen, that they have lost hope even to live the next day. We should have faith also that even as we try to treat, the faith comes in that when you have faith in anything that you believe in, God will always give you the strength to go another mile. And when God gives you another mile through faith, you have hope in that maybe you can have hope that you're going to get well, or the hope that even if you die, there is a second life that you are going to have when Christ comes back. And lastly, love. If Paul says that love is the greatest of all, because that love will protect the patient, will protect the kin, will protect the family, so that they can come together and have this heavy burden be carried with all the family. And these people who are suffering, when they have this love around them, you see, sometimes they get well very fast, or as even they go into their final, if they are into their evening, they go there knowing that they have got hope, and also leaving people with no such pain, so that they can see and also work towards even seeing our Savior. You remember, even the CEO of Safaricom, Bob Collymore, had cancer, and he had leukemia. This cancer is dangerous because it's a cancer of blood. And when he had the family together, when he had his people around him, you saw the kind of palliation that he got. And even you saw when he slept a happy man, because there was love around him. Also, we should have love so that we can have our patients to have great palliation and great end of their days, so that they can continue having hope in this world as we await for the second coming. Our listeners and our viewers, this evening, I would also want to tell you, those who are listening and maybe they are not men, that you can also be part of this, that we sensitize these men so that they can know that wherever they feel anything that is abnormal in their genitals, they should do something about it. They should talk about it. They should also go and check it. They should not only be telling us that you go check for cervical cancer, but also we can be told to go and check for these cancers so that they cannot kill us and finish us at these early stages. Because as the world progresses, as our lifestyle changes, also these diseases, they come early, not the way they used to come, that the late hours of people in the last days that we have been having. God be with you this evening as we continue in this series. Next week, we shall be seeing on the treatment and prevention of this prostate cancer, so that we can be equipped wherever we have such diseases hovering around us. Thank you, and you can also get us on RADIOMASTER _ online on YouTube, and also you get us at official _ RADIOMASTER on Facebook. Thank you, and see you next time, and next Friday as we continue this study.
Dominicana.